Minor adjustments are dedicated to preventing and reducing crime. Our primary purpose is to teach men or women how to make the minor adjustments that are necessary in their lives, which will allow them to obtain and maintain a productive lifestyle after incarceration and or rehabilitation. Our motto is anywhere but backwards. Everybody say anywhere but backwards. The words in that mission statement, it says to obtain, and the other one is maintain. Listen to me. To obtain means to come into the possession of something. Maintain means to keep it in existence. Listen. The reason why I say that, everybody say to obtain my sobriety is easy. Our challenge is to maintain it. Say to obtain our sobriety is easy. Our challenge is to maintain it.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Minor Adjustments virtual meeting. My name's Michael Mickey Williams Jr. And as always, our motto is anywhere but backwards. To God be the glory. So we're here today, and I pray that everybody is able to hear me. Let me make sure my sound and everything is correct. I believe we're good there. We're going to have another great day. So let me put the lesson that I'm going to go over today. I'll put it in the comment section so individuals who would like to review it later or download it later, they'll be able to do so. I'll put it in there. So that's shared there. So now we're going to also let you know that if you would like to check out our website, go to minoradjustments.org and you can find a host of different things that we do in regards to the minor adjustments program. All right. Minor adjustments is dedicated to preventing and reducing crime. Our primary purpose is to teach men and women how to make the minor adjustments that are necessary adjustments. All right. So we have been going over or through a book. We have two books. The minor adjustments have one book. This is the initial book that we use when we're doing our 8-week course. And we go through different topics in this particular book. However, there's a secondary book that we're going over today, or one of the topics that we're going over today. This particular book is to help train individuals who would like to facilitate the minor adjustments program in their area. And we got more content, and then we have an exhaustive area that we like to dig into and pour into individuals' lives. And all of these things that we go over with the minor adjustment program are simply things that we use in our own personal lives. So it's not something that I'm telling you to use that I don't use for myself. All right. So let's look at see what we got. So today we're going to go talk about our topic is this lesson 5. Our aim for this particular unit, we will learn how we'll need endurance. We will learn how we'll need endurance through this process of change. You don't know what you are capable of until you must help cope or endure difficult times. Let me read that again. I fumbled on a lot of those words. In this unit, we will learn how we'll need endurance, meaning you must have it, right? Because you're going to have to be able to cope during some enduring and difficult times. These times that we all are, like for instance, I wasn't feeling too well today. And I stayed in the house all day, and I had to endure through the process of, I knew later on this evening I had to do this class, and I just had to endure through difficult situation. And this is not something that I'm telling you that you won't have to do. There are going to be times in your life where you might not feel up to par, or more like, if you will, yourself, if you can understand what I mean. So there are going to be difficult times where you have to basically endure through those times. It's just, that's just how things are. You must have some type of endurance. So that's one of the chapters in the book, but we're going to look at it. Everybody, and when I say everybody, I mean everybody. Everybody faces its challenges in life. However, it's not the obstacles that define us. Rather, it is the way that we stand up for ourselves and push back against them that ultimately describes our character. So everybody faces challenges, but how we respond to those obstacles is really the key. It all comes down to perseverance. And as you wish you had tools to foster your perseverance since birth, then you'll be fortunate enough to have learned these existence and ultimately acquired them through the experience of others. So you got to understand that everybody faces challenges in life. However, it is not the obstacles that define us. Rather, it is the way that we stand up for ourselves, push back against them, that ultimately describes our character. It all comes down to, watch this big word, perseverance. Can you persevere through the difficult times or through the challenges that you might face in life? One greatest glory is not never failing, but in rising every time we fail. One of the most outstanding qualities of champions and successful people, watch this word, is endurance. So this is so true. Listen to me. Every person that you know, or every person that you know, no matter what area or arena they are in, if they are great at whatever arena you're thinking about, they each and every last one of them had to endure through some type of obstacles before they embrace the greatness that they are walking in any arena. So when you're thinking about and you're in the recovery process and you're trying to maintain your recovery, you're going to face obstacles in your life as well. Everybody going to face obstacles. That's why it's important, and that's why we're discussing endurance. Because in order for you to overcome those obstacles, you're going to have some type of endurance and persevere through those difficult times that I'm telling you that they are going to show up in your life, especially when you're trying to remain sober from the substance you used to use. It is determining to keep on going despite facing challenges. It is determined to keep on going despite facing challenges. The inner drive keeps you in the zone when everything else says it's time to quit. That inner drive, like when everything is telling you to tap out, quit, give up, that inner drive keeps you in the zone. You got to stay in the zone. When I first started my recovery process, I was focused on this is 150% accurate. I was focused on not going back. I did not know about what employment was going to look like, where I was going to live. I didn't know how my marriage was going to be. I didn't know what about my relationship with my children. I was in a zone, but the zone I was in was an inner drive of I can't go back. That was it. That was all the data I had. I had no other data in regards to all those things I just mentioned. But when you have an inner drive, that keeps you in the zone. That's why we tell people anywhere but backwards. When you have an inner drive, that inner drive will keep you in the zone. It is choosing to put one foot after another when the finish line is nowhere in sight. Oh man, y'all gotta get this. Listen, we're talking about endurance here. We're talking about learning how you need to have endurance, right? Okay, so you can put one foot in front of the other when the finish line is nowhere in sight. Some individuals probably be in their recovery process. They probably just got into a program. Like say you just got into the program, you just come into a facility, right? If you just keep putting one foot in front of the other, even though you don't even have the finish line in sight, you'll be totally okay. Because this is what minor adjustments try to teach individuals. I'm not telling you that at the onstart of my recovery process, I had it all mapped out. I didn't know what the finish line was going to look like. Right now, as of today, I'm a nationally, thank you, I didn't tell y'all, I'm now a nationally certified peer recovery specialist. That means I'm able to go around the state and teach about recovery support services. I'm a certified drug and alcohol counselor, and I'm a certified peer recovery counselor in the state of New Jersey. Right? Watch this. But that's all the finish line. I didn't have none of that in my view when I had that inner drive to not go back. I just had the inner drive not to go back, and I just kept putting one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other, even though you don't have the finish line in sight. You don't know the outcome that God has planned for you. Your assignment at this particular time is to continue to put one foot in front of the other. Watch this. If you put in one foot in front of the other, at the same time, have already fixed in your mind that you can't go backward, you're going to eventually walk into the finish line that was already preordained for you. Oh, man, I hope you understand some of the things that's coming out of my mouth. Man, I get myself excited about this. Everything I'm telling y'all is what I live every day. I live it every day. For most people, the usual journey to achieve success spans several years, sometimes decades. It is tempting to get discouraged and wonder what the point of trying is. Worse, when others appear to be making better progress. One thing to remember is that many people who have succeeded have endured hardship. I mentioned that earlier. Challenges, bad failures at some point in their lives. They kept going because they were determined to make an impact. I don't know who is listening to this video today, or if you watch it later on tonight, whenever you come across this particular video, you have to make up in your mind that you are determined to make an impact. I don't want to just be existing. I want to make an impact. I don't want to just be doing it. I want to be effective. I want you to always make sure that you are determined to make an impact. If you're determined to make an impact, you're going to need endurance. You're going to have to endure through some obstacles or some difficulties. Let's read this part right here again. It's very important. Watch this. When most people, the usual journey to achieve success spans several years, sometimes decades. It is tempting to get discouraged and wonder what's the point of trying. Worse, many people who have succeeded have endured hardship, challenges, bad failures at some point in their life. They kept going. Keep going. I don't know who this is for. But they kept going because they were determined to make an impact. I don't know where you are in your recovery process. I don't know if you hit a bump in the road, if you suffered the relapse, or even if you're having bad thoughts in your mind today. I'm telling you, just keep going because you got to make an impact. You have to be determined that no matter what, I'm not going backwards. But you got to understand you're going to have to need endurance. You're going to need endurance. Endurance is not a thing that's optional. This is not something that's an option for you. You must have endurance. Let's see what else we got here. Questions to ask yourself. We're picking up momentum here. Questions to ask yourself. Have I ever encountered a big disappointment that I found hard to take? Have I ever encountered a big disappointment that I found hard to take? You got to remember, what exactly did I find difficult? How did I solve the problem? This is the reason why you have to encounter or write down, have you ever encountered a big disappointment that I found hard to take? And you got to find out, how did I solve the problem? We believe most individuals who suffer from a substance use issue, we believe if we go to our substance, that's solving our problem. No. If you tuned in right now, you know without a shadow of a doubt, when we use substance, it did not solve the problem that we had, right? So the reason why you want to write down these issues, or write down what encountered you have you ever encountered a big disappointment that you found hard to take? And what exactly did I find difficult about it? And how did I solve the problem? Because when you're in the recovery process, you want to develop what's called coping skills. The only issue that a lot of us are having when we're struggling with some type of substance or alcohol is the way that we try to solve the problems or disappointments that we encounter. We resort back to substances, and we know that they do not solve the problem. However, we resort to those because we have never developed coping skills. Coping skills are simply a way to deal with any problem that comes our way. What coping skills or what relapse prevention skills, what spiritual development are you going to use to solve this particular problem? And I'm telling you this because I'm talking to my own self. I have the same particular thing to deal with in my life, just like you. We all face with certain situations or big disappointments that we encounter, but we all do use different things to try to solve those problems. I personally believe that all of life's problems are spiritual. Therefore, the answer to every problem is a spiritual solution. That's how I solve my problems. I'm not forcing that on you, but I believe that all of life's problems are spiritual. Therefore, the answer to every problem is a spiritual solution. That's how I deal with anything that I might encounter that might be called a big disappointment. That's how I deal with it. Why did I keep going when it got really tough? This is woo. Watch this. Why did I keep going when it got really tough? What motivated me? What tools or coping methods did I use to keep from quitting? Keep me from quitting, right? So this is all powerful stuff right here. Oh man, this is so good. What did I do? Why did I keep going when it got really tough? And you can ask yourself that. Why did you keep going when things got tough? Remember, I said I wanted to. One of the reasons, let me go back here. Let me go back. Look at the bottom of this page. It says they kept going because they were determined to make a big impact. So when it says, why did I keep going when it got really tough? The number one reason why I kept going when it got tough is because I had in my mind, I'm going to make a big impact. Some of the impact I wanted to make was to prove the doubters wrong. The individuals who told me you will always be on drugs, the individuals who told me you'll never succeed at anything, the individuals who always said bad things about me. I wanted to make a big impact. So when the things got difficult, when things got tough, I kept going because I wanted to make a big impact. So if you want to make a big impact in your life, in your family's life, in the community where you grew up or wherever, you have to have endurance. You have to continue to put one foot in front of the other. One foot in front of the other. I hope y'all getting something from this because I'm getting something from my own self today. Woo! Number 5. Can you give an example of a situation in which you feel you did not persist long enough? I know you can think about that. Can you give an example of a situation in which you feel you did not persist long enough, meaning you didn't go the extra mile? You started your recovery process, but something happened and you abandoned ship. You didn't keep going. You didn't, can you think of a situation where, I could have actually gave a little bit more effort to this. I could have went a little bit farther. I could have did a lot more. I could have encouraged more people. I could have gave some more time to my reading. I could have prayed more. I could have, you didn't go the extra mile. You got to think about going the extra mile. A lot of times individuals don't go the extra mile for a host of different reasons, but they won't admit why they didn't go the extra mile. You know what I mean? So you got to understand, a lot of times we have these situations and we will tap out when really we should continue to keep going and pressing on to the mark. If we keep going, if we're talking about endurance, right? And the question is, can you give an example of a situation which you feel you did not persist long enough, meaning you didn't endure long enough? All of us can think about that time. I know I can. I could be like, man, I didn't actually give my all. We all know how much we can give. I mean, in our recovery process, in life in general, we all know how much we can truly give. And we all know when we're not giving our all. Let's see, we're going to be out of here today. I ain't going to hold you long today. All right. Next one says, challenges make you stronger and strengthen your ability to face adversities. So some of the challenges that you're faced with in your life, listen, out of all your life, some of the challenges that you have faced or you might face down the road, if you process them in this bullet right here, challenges make you stronger and strengthen your ability to face adversities. So when you're faced with these challenges, right, they will help strengthen you and enable you to be able to face different adversities. You become confident from overcoming many challenges. You learn from mistakes by examining what went wrong and improving. Yeah, you learn. I use the phrase. This is my phrase. You can use it. I give it to you. Give me credit the first time. After that, you can say it's yours. Your mistakes have to become your mentors. Your mistakes have to become your mentors. You can always tell when a person's mistakes have become their mentors when the person no longer repeats the mistakes. If you're still making the same mistakes, Mr. Michael Mickey Williams Jr., then that's proof that you didn't learn or your mistakes have not become your mentors at that point. Once your mistakes become your mentors, the proof that they have taught you something is that you no longer repeat them. If I'm using it in the sense of my substance use issue, for 22 years, I struggled with all types of crack, cocaine, and heroin, right? Stay with me. But for the last 15 years, I have been removed from the substance that I used to do. Why? Because my mistakes have become my mentors. And the proof that my mistakes have become my mentors is I no longer make those mistakes. You must have somebody with endurance. You must have to. Let's see what we got here. It says you learn from your mistakes by examining what went wrong, and watch this big word, and improving. What went wrong? Now, how can I improve it? You acknowledge it, the mistake. Got it. I got that. Okay. What went wrong? Okay, I got that. Now, how do I improve it? That's all process right there. When facing difficulties, it makes you appreciate the good times. When difficulties come your way, that's when we appreciate the good times we have in life. When we face with those things, we be like, man, I appreciate all the good times I had when I'm faced with stuff. You identify new ways to approach tasks. You identify new ways to approach tasks. You accomplish more tasks with wisdom. Endurance, watch this, endurance builds your resilience and strengthens your willpower. You become a visionary person who learns and grows. This is all stuff that these are key points to learn from endurance and handling. These are key points right there. These points right here, these are key points to learn from endurance. All of those right there. I don't know if you got the PowerPoint or you got the handout, or you can get it from the comment section. I put the link to it. You want to get these points right here. You want to save them and you want to read them over and over, because these are key points to learn from endurance. You will learn all those things and a lot of others that you might have. These is just some that we put in this particular workbook. Next, endurance is easier when you have a mental vision of where you are going. Endurance is easier when you have a mental picture. when you have a mental, watch this. Endurance is easier when you have a mental picture of where you going. Man, I can't stress. Let me pull over, pause, and park right here for a moment. I'm able to endure through situations just like yourself. You're able to endure through situations when you have a mental picture of where you're going. I'm trying to make an impact in this world before I am out of here. And I have a mental picture of where I'm going, and being as though I have a mental picture of where I'm trying to go and how a powerful impact I'm trying to make. It helps me endure through difficult situations when they come into my life. When you have a mental picture of where you're going, when troubles and difficulties and obstacles come your way, you're able to get through those difficulties, those obstacles, no matter what, because you have a mental picture of where you're going. You need to have a mental picture. I was watching a video today. I was talking about this kid. He was 5 years old, and he used to be watching all his friends will be outside playing, and the adult male will be watching the Super Bowl. And he will want to sit there and watch these men watching this Super Bowl. His mother said he was 5 years old. Instead of playing with the kids, he will be watching these men while they watching the Super Bowl, and he will be amazed about the Super Bowl. And it's now today he's playing in an NFL team as a quarterback who's on the verge of going to the Super Bowl. I said all that to say this. That little kid had a mental picture of where he was trying to go. And today he's literally living in that mental picture that has now become a reality. I'm telling you that because I want you to see this point right here. When you have endurance is easier when you have a mental vision of where you are going. Man. Woo, man, I can't give you nothing better than that. I can't give you nothing better than that, man. All right. His name, you said, what's his name? His name is Brock Purdy from the San Francisco 49ers quarterback. Yeah, that's his name. Rock. All right, let's see. A written down. Okay, let me read over. Endurance is easier when you have a mental vision of where you are going. A written down and clear vision helps you focus, help you focus your mind, align it to your goals, and prepare the best suited activities. The more you endure, the better you become at it. So you want to have a clear picture of a vision or a mental picture of a mission. Remember, that's why if you hear me, I'm always tuned in. I always like to talk about mission or vision. Like the minor adjustments is dedicated to preventing and reducing crime, and our primary purpose, that's the mission. That's the mission. How do you carry out that particular mission? You got to connect with individuals who are needing in services or need the services that you can provide. That's the vision. I got to connect with the individuals who I can help. Okay, watch this. Discouragement is a temptation common to man, and in dealing with sometimes we need tenderness and other times we need toughness. Watch this. Sometimes when you're dealing with discouragement, you need tenderness, but you also need toughness. Either way, discouragement is not to be tolerated. It's to be fought. If we linger in discouragement, it can be damaging. Its sense of defeat and hopelessness saps us with energy and vision. It consumes a lot of time. It keeps us from doing what we need to do because we don't know what to face it, because we don't want to face it. So you got to remember that when you face with discouragement comes into our lives. It's trying to zap us. It's trying to take stuff away from us. So we have to deal with that discouragement when it comes. We can't let it sit there and try to tap us out. If we linger in discouragement, it can be damaging. So listen to me. if you find your place in a situation where you're being discouraged, no matter how the discouragement comes about, you need to tap into some type of spiritual advisor, mentor, staff member. Do not sit there and let the discouragement lingers. When the discouragement lingers, the discouragement brings about hopelessness, and it tries to take away from your energy and your vision. You have to remember that. You have to remember that. I'm telling you right now, if you find yourself in that place right now and you're in a place of discouragement, I'm telling you, find someone that you can confide in. The thoughts or the discouragement needs you to keep it to yourself. But once you tell somebody, yeah, I'm having a very discouraging moment, or I'm going through this, you now take the power back from the place of discouragement and put it back in your control. If the discouragement lingers, it can become damaging to your recovery process. I pray you understand that. All right, let's see what we got here. All right. Write down some of the big steps you are afraid to take in your life. Woo-wee. Write down some of the biggest steps you are afraid to take in your life. Is it relocating from the state you used to live, the area you used to be, distance yourself from some family members that you probably love them, but you need to love them from afar, because every time you get around them, you go back to doing what you used to do. Write down some big steps you are afraid to take in your life. Some of us are afraid to go back to school because we feel like we've been out of school so long. It's no way I could pass my high school diploma now. But I'll tell you, like I told everybody else, I found out I know more now than I did when I was in high school. And I went back to school. Actually, it's right back there on the wall. I went back to school to get my high school education. Some of us, this is a big step for some of us. Watch this. Write down the actions you took to overcome discouragement and take the big steps you were afraid of. So what did you do to overcome your discouragement when you're faced with a place of discouragement? What did you do? How did you deal with it? Right? All these are things you can write down. And again, I put the link in the comment section that y'all can download to your phone or email or whatever. Discouragement and disappointment are normal emotions. We all experience them, but it's important to know how to make sure those draining emotions don't get the best of us. So we all faced with discouragement, disappointment, but we don't want those things to get the best of us. The best way to chase out negative feelings is with another positive feelings. So you got to feed your mind positive feelings that will flush out negative feelings. I use God's word or Psalms or Proverbs, and I feed my spirit man Proverbs or Psalms or things like that. And when I feed myself those, they flush out all the negative things that it's not going to do anything but bring me discouragement or disappointment. All right. Let's see. Lastly, one more. Gratitude is a powerful antidote for discouragement. We may not be able to give thanks for challenging situations that we find ourselves in, but we can learn to look for things we can be thankful for in the midst of them. And when I read that, I hear James chapter 1, and it says, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations or diverse trials, knowing that the trying of your faith produces patience. But let patience have a perfect work, that you may be equipped, lacking nothing, perfect and complete, lacking nothing. So some things you can count it all joy. Gratitude is a powerful antidote for discouragement. So when you find yourself in a place where you feel discouragement or some type of disappointment, be grateful for some of the things that you can think about at that particular time. When you can be grateful for some things that you be grateful for any type of thing that you can find, that will help you flush out any discouragement that you might be facing. Again, This is just a little short lesson and an encouragement for you. I'm not going to keep you long. It's a great devotion. Tune in every week, and we're going to drop different lessons, and we're going to continue to feed you. And I'm going to put the playlist in the comment section on here of all our previous videos. I'm going to put it in here now so you can get right directly to the playlist of all the videos that we have done this far. I want you to get them so you can be able to check them out later at a later date or whenever you're not doing anything. I'll put it in here and you can see all the previous videos we have done there in the comment sections, and you can check them out and walk through them each week and just check them out and let us know. Leave some comments. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. We need all of you to subscribe to the channel, share it with individuals. Again, my name is Michael Mickey Williams Jr. Minor Adjustments is dedicated to preventing and reducing crime. Our primary purpose is to teach men and women how to make the minor adjustments that are necessary for their lives, which will allow them to obtain and maintain a productive lifestyle after incarceration and or rehabilitation. Our motto is anywhere but backwards. To God be the glory. Have a great day on purpose, and always remember you must have endurance. Thank you. God bless you.